Welcome to WDW Escape, brought to you by WDW Magazine. This week we return to our archives for another magical moment, The Happiest Cruise That Ever Sailed by Brian McCumsey, which first appeared in issue 81, June 2020. To quote Scar from my favorite Disney animated film, The Lion King, anything but that. This is Scar's reaction to Zazu beginning a rousing chorus of It's a Small World after asking him to sing something a little more upbeat. And this seems to be the reaction of some whenever this classic dark ride is mentioned. I'm still waiting for an attraction based on the I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts song that Zazu sings, but I've mostly given up hope. But maybe we need the idea behind the song really drilled into our heads. If you look at a map of the world, are there countries that you don't know much about? Are there countries where you can't picture any faces of people that you know? If you're anything like me, there is an overwhelming number. There is a danger in this. When something is a nameless and faceless void, we tend to think of it as less real. So take a moment to dive with me into the waters of It's a Small World. Not really. I've heard the water in dark rides is pretty shallow. I'm not sure if people love the attraction and jokingly make comments about it, or if there's been a growing resentment towards its simplicity over the years. Whatever the reason, we need to be a little more like Mama Odie and dig a little deeper to see what Walt is trying to tell us. Many of us know that It's a Small World was an opening day attraction for Walt Disney World, but there's a bit more history behind it than that. The attraction was created by Walt Disney for the 1964-65 New York World's Fair. Walt Disney created an attraction for PepsiCo in support of the United Nations Children's Fund. Think about this for a moment. The boat you climb on, the song you hear, the experience you feel, it came from the mind of Walt Disney. In our modern age, when everything tends to get bigger and more advanced, you have an opportunity to connect with Walt himself on It's a Small World. This attraction serves as a portal of sorts, a direct link to the mind of Walt Disney. Since opening day in 1971, this little boat has been graded one thing. Well, several things, but one thing is known above all. You can't get that song out of your head. I do not say that in a negative way at all. It's just a simple fact. The songwriters for Mary Poppins, Richard and Robert Sherman, created a song that could be sung by audio animatronic characters in many different languages. Spectacle so rarely catches us off guard anymore. It's like we've been wowed to death by attractions that continuously attempt to outdo one another with production value. However, there's a reason why It's a Small World was massively popular when it debuted, and to this day. It is a sheer spectacle. Think about it. 25 countries and 5 languages are represented in the ride, all singing the same song. It was recorded by various groups such as a church choir in London, a school in Rome, performers from television in Mexico, and children from Tokyo and California. This is spectacle indeed. When you enter the attraction, you'll see a Fast Pass entrance and a regular entrance. I cannot think of a reason to use one of your Fast Pass options on this attraction, since it moves quite fast. Enter through the main queue and head down the long and windy ramps. When you get to the bottom, you'll board a boat with 20 of your closest friends. By the end, you'll all be singing together. That counts as friendship, right? When you board your boat, you'll see glittery whites, grays, and golds. The art style of It's a Small World was designed by Mary Blair. You'll see plenty of childlike art and geometric shapes. The collage-like nature of the artwork makes you feel as if you were taking a cruise through a children's book. Earlier I spoke of spectacle. This attraction is hard to describe because of everything that is going on. There are so many different audio animatronic dolls, 289 to be exact. Each doll has custom-made clothes made especially for him or her. Alice Davis served as the designer, and a merry band of Disney seamstresses sewed over 300 different costumes using materials authentic to each region. If I tried to list each one, we could go on for pages and pages. Instead, let me list what my eye is drawn to as we set off on this happy little cruise. There are toy soldiers with horns and drums, as if to celebrate you as you float by. A stylized version of the Eiffel Tower hosts dancers in frilly dresses. There are fancy flowers, and hey, look, a mountain goat. There are magic carpets in the sky above your head. There are happy hippos, hysterical hyenas, gigantic giraffes, and excited elephants. Riding this attraction makes you speak like a children's book. It's a known side effect. There are penguins, Hawaiian dancers, and a surfer. There are hot air balloons, a carousel, and ducks. Okay, ducks aren't quite as exciting, but they are there, and if you're like me, they'll quack you up. That's right, folks, I went there. I made that joke. I am a dad, after all. As you float around the bend from room to room, you'll pass through the following: Europe, Asia, Africa, Central and South America, South Pacific Islands, and the finale where all cultures come together. Each area is packed wall to wall with an eye-popping assortment of audio animatronics. If you embrace the whimsy, you won't leave disappointed. The final room that you enter is the Goodbye Room. Here you will find goodbye written in many different languages. It is a touching send-off as you float to the exit. It's only fitting that a ride this inclusive of all languages and cultures is also in many different Disney parks throughout the world. Outside of Walt Disney World, It's a Small World can be found in Disneyland in California, Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, and Hong Kong Disneyland. What would Walt Disney want us to feel as we finish this cruise? What do you think that his goal was? Why did he partner with UNICEF and then put the ride in his theme parks? There's truth in the simple song to which we all know the words. Earlier I wrote of the importance of putting names and faces to the countries in this world, to see humanity in what was once a picture on a map. In 2007, my parents moved to Singapore for my dad's job. As the tires of their plane left the runway and they rose above the country that they had always called home, it was hard for me to imagine that they would live half a world away, literally. And not like the kids use literally, but actually the way Merriam-Webster uses literally. They lived in Singapore for almost 3 years. During that time I went to visit twice, almost 24 hours on a plane. The world felt huge. But now when I hear news of that part of the world, I don't think of the country, but of the friends I met there. June, Michelle, Hetty, William, Belinda, and Michael in Singapore. The Philippines bring thoughts of Maribel and Karen. When I think of Indonesia, I smile as I think of Ferdinand, Herbin, and Mueller. The world is vast, but it is smaller for me than it once was. You see, I can no longer view those places without thinking of these people, these faces, and because I know them, I see the humanity of the entire region. When you know people around the world, it is like a light has turned on in a darkened alley. Because we see the people who live there, we can't help but care about them. I think this is what Walt Disney was trying to tell us. There may be a day when It's a Small World is replaced by something with the newest technology, and knowing the Imagineers, it will be wonderful, fantastic, and mind-blowing. For now, I will appreciate this connection to Walt Disney. I will sing the song. I will appreciate what Walt was going for using a simple children's melody. One song, 5 languages. The world is smaller than you think. We are all living similar stories. Look around. You are part of something much bigger than yourself. We are residents of planet Earth, and we all matter, after all. This has been WDW Escape, brought to you by WDW Magazine. If you enjoy these programs, please consider leaving a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed this, you're sure to love the all-new content at WDW Magazine, available in print or digital editions. Visit wdw-magazine.com and escape with us today.